नमस्ते, मैं हूँ बॉबी और स्वागत है आपका हील योर लाइफ में. The first language that our body and soul knows is the language of sound. Language कहाँ सीखते हैं हम ये? When we are inside our mother's womb. The heartbeat, the sound, that is the language that we learn, है ना? Before we learn to speak, before we actually come out of, we are born, एक language सीखते हैं हम और हमारी आत्मा, like our soul is more connected to the language that we learned first. What we forget later on, once we are born, we are conditioned and we are programmed. Our brain starts getting programmed with the language, other language like mother's language, father's tongue, mother's tongue. Again, saying that. So before that, we learn the language of sound. Therefore, I think that अगर healing और अगर मन की healing और soul की healing कोई language कर सकता है, so that's the language of sound. And why are we talking about sound today? Because we have a beautiful human being with us who has been practicing, who has been teaching, and who has been serving thousands of people, healing so many souls through his sound therapy. आइए उनका स्वागत करते हैं. स्वागत है यश जी.
नमस्कार.
Thank you से शुरू करूंगी for coming all the way and giving us this time. And first, Yash, I would love to, like our audience would love to know about your journey.
So my journey started when I was in Singapore in 2011 when I was diagnosed with depression. In those days, my psychologist and psychiatrist suggested me to experience yoga and sound healing.
A psychiatrist told that?
Yes.
Wow.
They told us, it will really help you in the healing journey, and since you are from India, and it will also connect with you within. So I remember going to yoga studios, doing one-to-one sessions, and going for a sound healing sessions in 2012. And when I came back to India, and then that was the time I was going through therapy again, and I completely surrendered to these modalities of yoga in those days. Yoga was still at a very beginning stage, and I used to do yoga in those days, and that helped me a lot. Then meditation happened. So then I was doing jobs in hotels, and however, I was not happy with what I was doing. And then in 2017, I left everything, and then I thought, I have to start something on my own. And that through, then I thought being in hotels, working for like top-notch hotels, so there was an inbuilt talent of training people. So that's how I got through corporate training projects. So then I got my first project in 2018-19 with CNW in Cyber City, and then I never looked back after that. And then COVID happened. At that time, I thought that whatever the healing modalities help me out, so let's spread it to the people as well.
Wow.
So then I ventured more professionally into psychology, yoga, sound healing, and some healing modalities like Reiki as well. So currently I do mix of everything. I will also do, like, one day you might be seeing in a formal attire doing a corporate training, and then next day I might be
when you're saying corporate training, what kind of training?
Trainings are related to how to, like, leadership training, how leaders in the companies in MNCs, how they can upgrade themselves. And then secondly, training the executives about soft skills, their behavior, client management skills, behavior skills, personality development. So these were the aspects that I started off, and I still do it because that's what I truly, like doing it. So I have not stopped that. So I still do these projects, like with training the leaders about what exactly is leadership, what makes a good leader. But however, now my focus is more towards, sound healing, meditation, a bit
What
of.
kind of meditation? I'm breaking you in between. Sorry. What kind of meditation?
Well, there are a lot of kind of meditation, but in the beginning, I started off with doing guided meditations.
Active?
Yeah, and
Active
now I
meditation.
do silent meditations where I just close my eyes and then,
Kind of vipassana, would you say that?
yeah, just close my eyes and then try to go deeper into,
Own being.
yeah, nothingness. However, now I have included sound meditation as well. So, like, certain kind of sounds bring a certain kind of a shift. So now I meditate like listening to sitar as well.
Wow.
Yeah. And sound healing itself, sound healing, I can't do it for myself, but for others, when I do sound healing, so these vibrations really help them to relax and calm down very quickly.
Okay. Sound healing. Okay.
Yeah, healing through sound.
Let's talk about sound healing.
So it's like healing through sound.
Yeah,
So
like how does this work?
sound itself has a profound effects on our lives.
Absolutely.
So before we are born, when we are in mother's womb,
Exactly. That's
so
how
all our
we are
experiences are
started with.
nothing but in vibrations, because we can't see anything, and the first sensory organ to be made is inner ear when we are in mother's womb.
Exactly. The first language that we learn.
Yes, is sound, yeah. And all the experiences in a womb is just experiencing sound and vibrations from the external world. So that's why in our culture we have Garbh Sanskar. So a female goes through a certain kind of rituals before the child is born, like meditation, doing certain kind of yoga, listening to classical music, because that will and what kind of thoughts the person has or a woman has at that time when the child is in the womb, so all that affects the child has been born. So our experiences with the sound starts in the womb itself, and when we are born, what do we do?
Yeah, it's like the story of Abhimanyu.
Yes, exactly. So that's exactly is the power of sound. We are actually, and like being in psychology, so I in my internship we did like case history for patients, and case histories we ask our patients that what were you like. We asked the patients parents that what were how were your when you were in pregnant, the woman was pregnant, then how was your mental health, because your mental health also affects the child. So a
Absolutely.
lot of mental disorders which are very common these days, because the women don't have time right now, they are working, they are stressed out, the environment, that is also causing a lot of mental disorders when the child are born. And nowadays it's very common, like a child might be 5 or 6 or a teenager, he or she is having a depression that comes
Exactly.
actually from the womb itself, because they are because females don't have time and the life has become so stressed out, there's pollution,
Yeah.
there's environmental problem,
Pollution of every
every
fashion.
every fashion, noise pollution, air
Yeah.
pollution.
Here,
So that is
here,
that
everywhere.
is
Yeah.
causing a constant trouble for the child who is to be born. So yeah, so our sound, and then when we are born, so the first, what do? We cry. So first thing what we do is we make a sound, and that's how we are born. That's why after that we take a breath. So that's how the effect of sound we have in our lives. And what we do when we are born, so there is in all cultures there is sacred books. A father or a mother will read sacred books, they will perform havan. So in Islam, it's the father's duty to recite the verses of Quran to the child when the child is born. So why? Because that sound should resonate. That should be the first sound that the child is hearing, so that his life becomes more powerful, because sound is a very very powerful way. And what happens is when we hear to the sound, so auditory circuits, it converts it into electrical impulses, and then it goes in our head and the brain processes it, and the whole body gets energized through the sound. And that's why when you are listening to a certain kind of music, a certain kind of shift happens. So when you are listening to Jagjit Singh, you will have a different emotion. And when you are listening to
Arijit Singh.
Arijit Singh, or probably you are listening, you are an army person is before going to war, he's having national anthem, so he'll die for.
Yeah, yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
And that's the power of sound and music. But however, in all the cultures, you see, in our culture, Vedas, they were all oral translations. They were never written. So what it is telling is that there is a power in the sound, and there are a lot of rishi munis and yogis doing meditation. So to reach the siddhis also, they recite, so they have to master the mantra. So what it states that everything is related to the sound, but however, all our experiences are more visuals.
Yes.
So sound healing is starts from the birth itself. Our voice itself is a healing modality. It can also release lot of stress from the body and mind.
What
So
kind of, so sorry, the next question that I want on, what kind of people come to you for sound healing? What kind of people come to you exactly?
people who are stressed, who are having some kind of a mental disorder.
What all of us, like most of us, sorry.
Yeah, and I also do these sound healing workshops in drug addiction center in
Yes.
Chhatarpur. So these kind of people come. Then I do these workshops in corporates. So because corporate world is also very stressed out. So what happens is through the sound, through these harmonic vibrations, so people feel relaxed and calm down.
Okay. So somebody like, it's a, it's like a one time thing that person would be helped enough, or it's like serial number
It
of
has to be
sessions.
serial number of session, at least 12 to 15 sessions, and then you can see the change that we have seen that in our rehab center also, that people feel that that they might have insomnia, they're not able to sleep.
Yes, that's a very common.
I work with patients suffering from a severe ADHD. They are not able to focus, but through these techniques, through use of various techniques that I have invented on my own with people with OCD, with ADHD, they are able to bring back the focus and their healing journey get enhanced.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, I would like to know more about what you're doing. It's like a noble work that you're
Yeah.
doing this in the rehab. How is the reaction and how fast it is for people? How, what is,
Well, it takes time because when you are,
because they're already addicted to
yeah, they
something.
are
That's
addicted
why
to
they are.
something. So it gives them an instant relaxation because these bowls have a very calming vibrations. So these are tuned to a certain frequency, let's say 100 to 500 hertz. So in the same way, our body is also tuned to 250 hertz. So there was a research done. They said, our natural frequency is 250 hertz. So these bowls frequency and our body frequencies are in sync. So when somebody strikes the bowl or gong the bowl, the vibrations that comes out, and it immediately goes from our ears to the brain, and our brain starts to relax, and from the beta state you reach to alpha to theta, and I have seen people dozing off like for in within 10 minutes, and sometimes I've seen in rehab people are sleeping for hours,
Wow.
and I don't disturb them because I go to another rehab where there are just three patients. So my 2 o'clock my session ends, and I
Sleeps and
yes, because that's when the healing will happen, because the sound is doing the thing. And the best feedback I got was one of my patients told us that our psychiatrist says you do this thing, our psychologist say ab ye kar lo, our yoga teacher say this, our art therapist you paint like this. But sound is you are not saying anything, you are just allowing yourself to surrender to the sounds
yeah, and the process
process.
automatically happens
Yes,
internally.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then it also helps in pain management as well.
Really?
Yes, because the vibrations of these bowls, they go into the body deep. So they are different kind of bowls. One is with high frequency, then one will be more thin bowl, which will have more vibrations. So these vibrations will enter your body parts and it will interact with the cells, and then the stiffness in the body will end. Blood flow will also increase. So I do sound healing course also, where I had a neck issue, neck problem, stiffness of neck. So my student did a 15 minutes of massage on my neck, and my neck pain was gone instantly because it removed the vibrations, removed the stiffness.
Okay. Even like sound helps in pain, like
Yes,
painkiller
yeah, yeah.
also.
Like there is a lot of research in the US which is happening that you listen to certain kind of frequencies, and it will actually it actually bring backs to the calming state. You are humming with peace because when the person is stressed out, his sympathetic nervous system is always active. He's thinking about past, he's thinking about present, future. But what happens is when he comes to these yoga sessions, sound healing sessions, meditation sessions, he becomes still. And through sound, it is easy for person to go into deeper state of meditation, because when you are doing guided meditation, you are just telling them, okay, now you are walking on the beach, you are seeing the trees. So he starts daydreaming in guided meditation. But through sound, because these sounds are very, very powerful, and then we we create a certain kind of a sargam or a rhythm which entrains the brain, and it instantly gives relaxation.
Absolutely. I mean, it's an obvious thing, of course.
Yeah.
So your session, they are like group sessions happens or one-on-one?
These
How
are
does this?
group as well and one-on-one. So in rehab, we do like group sessions, and they have a studio where we do personal sessions one-to-one, where people come. Basically, I specialize in people with anxiety, with some kind of a mental disorders as well. Because being into psychology, so that's what I feel that it is very, very important to include. And I'm working with a lot of psychologists as well, where they are including these kind of things in their therapy sessions. So I'm
Okay.
teaching psychologists because I teach sound healing as well. So there are few clinical psychologists, they are signing up for my courses because the impact is very, very powerful. And I've been doing like from rehab last almost 1 year. So it was not working, then I would not be working
Yes, of course.
with them. So because the
Understood.
feedback was like people loved it, and we experimented. Frankly speaking, when I was working there, so I talked to the psychologist and psychiatrist. I said, let's try out few sessions. If patients like it, then we'll go ahead, and if they don't like it, we'll stop it. And the response was amazing. And
Okay.
I had a person, a patient, he experienced a bliss after 20 years. He did some kind of meditation from Vigyan Bhairav Tantra, and he experienced that. And through sound healing, he experienced that after 20 years.
Wow.
So that's it's very, very
Effective
powerful. But you have to
sounded.
surrender to it and let the sound take you wherever it wants to take you.
So you provide certifications with your courses, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So it's called Five Elements.
Five Element
How
Center.
did Five Elements,
So it
what
was
the name happened?
name was they related to five koshas in our body. So I was, because there are like five koshas, like Anandmay kosha, Pranmay kosha. These are like subtle uh, layers.
Okay.
So when I was doing through a lot of research in yoga, then I thought, to heal somebody, these five koshas has to be aligned. So our main aim was that how to align these five koshas are your mind, body, soul, and your breath should align. So to align the body, you have yoga. To align your breath, you have deep breathing. To align your mind, like psychology consultation, your uh, and the sound healing helps. So yeah, it was mix of that. That's how I started off with Five Element Center. So that was the essence behind that. Balancing the five subtle layers of our self, because when they are in balance, that's how the ailment happens, especially mental ailments. And it has been proven that everybody knows that all the physical ailments firstly manifests as a mental ailment as well. The more stressed you are, and the intensity of the stress, when it is increased at one point after years, it will turn into a disease.
Yeah, any diseases. Like the reason of any disease, I think it is stress and it is people getting lost from one place to another, emotions, then and I think like लोग जिम चले जाते हैं हेल्थ सही करना है I'll run to the gym, I'll go for the run, I'll have protein powders, I'll have certain kind of superfood, and I'll do this or that. But people actually forget the main health where it comes from. The entire body is connected to the brain, and that has to be first concentrated on the
Yeah, it is.
emotional health.
Yes, it is like ahar, vichar, and vyavhar. Ahar is a what you eat,
Exactly.
how you think, and how is your behavior, and what kind of people you meet. So you might do yoga, you might go to various ashrams, do vipassana, but unless and until your food, what kind of content you are watching every day, and what kind of people you are meeting, that will impact your life.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay.
So that's what I implied, and that's why I was able to heal myself through depression, because I thought that that's how I invented that's how I surrendered to Ayurveda as well. Because in Ayurveda it is said that you have to eat in a certain.
You're practicing Ayurveda also
No, I
on
don't
yourself?
Yes, yes. Whenever I get time, of course, I have like very fixed timings of eating. So very rarely on junk food. Very, very on emergency basis. That's it. So no pizzas, no pastas, no chole bhature, no pastries, no cakes. Yeah, it has to be disciplined unless and until you are abusing your body with food. It's just a few minutes of what you call it, pleasure for the
Pleasure.
mouth,
Yeah.
and then you later on the day then you regret.
Yeah.
So again, it's a very tough life, but that's how life coaching helped me a lot, overcoming these kind of things, because you get addicted to food as well. Like there's so much in the market, very
So
good food.
while, as you are a coach as well, right? So while you're coaching people, how, what is the percentage of people who actually listen?
Yeah, it's tough, but those it's a tough journey. Like firstly, I applied all coaching on myself,
Yeah.
especially all these techniques come from NLP, neuro linguistic programming, where I actually rewired my brain related to food, because you see a thing and you are attracted, right? When you are like, sometimes I feel like, okay, what to eat in the market, then I say I have no interest in all these packed foods. I will eat packed food, but in emergency when there is nothing available. So otherwise I completely ignore packed food. It's really not good for the health. It's a lot of chemicals. It's always as ghar ka khana, like whatever is cooked in the home. Or if I go outside, I'll have salad, or like yeah, some like of salad, or some kind of a hummus.
Of course, you are. I mean, you have studied hotel management. And
Yeah.
वो ज्ञान तो है ही आपके पास
Yes, yes,
already.
yes. I've forgotten what the wines were, what kind of fancy dishes were, but I still very vaguely remember.
Okay.
I've forgotten the names of pastas also now.
Okay. So coming back to sound healing again, what metal or what kind of, like, we have the gong here. So
Singing
what?
bowl, yeah.
Yeah, singing. It is, so it's
Yeah,
called
so
singing
singing
bowl.
bowl. So there's a lot of misperception. People say it's a Tibetan bowl,
Yeah,
but
what it
this
is?
is actually a singing bowl. So when you gong it, these are actually all made in India.
Really?
Yes, you will find lot of singing bowls which are colored with fancy.
Yeah, I have seen
But
them.
they are not used. They are aluminium made or they are machine made.
Why they call it as a Tibetan bowl if it's
Well,
made in
it's a
India?
myth that everything is created. Like all these bowls comes from Nepal. They are all made in handcrafted, made in India. But whatever, some bowls have certain kind of what you call this, certain kind of artwork that comes from Nepal.
Okay,
So
so it's made here and then it goes to get
yes,
craft there
yes,
and then
probably
comes
they
back.
also have a manufacturing. Nepal also has it, but India also have most of the like bowls that we get. It's all from India. Yeah, and people in earlier times they used to eat food in this, and because Kansa, I still eat food in Kansa. It's really good for your health.
Yeah,
And sometimes I have few singing bowls where I will have rice and dal,
in the same bowl.
yeah, or a salad. In this,
In Assam, we still eat in,
yeah, in Assam, yes, of
yeah,
course.
we still eat in this metal.
Yeah. So
It's
what happens is when you strike it, so it has a beautiful resonance and a stored energy. So these frequencies are very, very calming. So it instantly takes you to alpha state in 5 to 6 minutes. A person who is stressed out, it will be like a complete, like a cellular massage from him, for him, because your cells are also getting regenerated. Because when you are in the peace, you are humming with peace, and this has a stable, consistent vibrations. And we also need a stable, consistent relationship, stable, consistent thoughts, stable, consistent emotion. That's how our energy will flow through the body.
Of course.
And these are healing as well as these are musical instruments as well. They are tuned to certain kind of a note. Like we have Sare Gama Pada Nisa, so C D E F G A B. So these are musical notes as well. So you can actually, it's very tough, but you can actually make a complete sargam out with these 7 sets.
7 sets. Okay, it is 7 sets of bowl that you're saying?
Yeah, 7 sets of bowl.
So every
Again, they
time
come
you
in various varieties. So some are thick,
okay.
some are thin, some are very big, some are in that you can actually stand or you can sit. So when you sit, so what happens is when you gong it, so all the vibrations will go inside your body. So your cells are getting massaged, they are getting relaxed.
So
Because
when you're using this bowl, it's like one bowl or a set
they
of
are set
number
of 5 to 6 to 7.
to 5
And
to
then I
6
have
to
few
7.
crystal bowls as well. Then I use sitar as well sometimes. String instrument. Then I use gong. This is a percussion instrument. So that gong is basically used for activation to release lot of stuck energy, like people having depression. Something like an activating sounds will be good for them. People having anxiety, ADHD, or other ailments, more of a peace, because we, especially I cater to more of an Indian clientele, so they don't like much of a high pitched sounds. They like calming sounds because they are already, going to pubs in
Anyways,
anyways in
matlab,
noise. Yeah.
yeah, it's noise everywhere you go.
And
You
then
walk
there's
out of
another
the house.
method where you actually you can put water
And rub it.
and yeah, so it's you rim it.
Okay.
So this is the sound of a drone.
Yes. Wow.
And these
Wow.
are all
Yeah, yeah.
ancient methods, and it comes from India only. People say it's come from Tibet, wherever, but
It's actually from India?
yeah, everything is from India. Our culture itself, like they're used in monasteries as well.
Yes, it is used in monastery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in earlier times, like there was a complete Buddhist monasteries in Kashmir as well.
Yes, yes.
So all these things, but now they have shifted because Buddhism spread across more into China.
Everywhere actually.
Yeah, in
Buddhism.
more of a Eastern
Yeah.
Asia. So that's why you'll see a lot of things. That's why people call it from Tibet. But actually, even in Persia, they were using. And actually, from according to me, these were all inventions during Bronze Age. We had Iron Age. We have Iron Age. We had
Different ages of
different
different
ages. So it
metals.
was a Bronze Age also.
Okay.
So probably during that time, our ancestors invented that. And sound, how it was invented was we used to live in tribes. We were all tribals at the end of the day, like our ancestors. We were not in the cities, we were in the jungles. So what we used to do at that time, our ancient ancestor, they start tapping on the feet, they started tapping on their head, on the body parts. Then they thought, okay, now let's tap on the other person's feet, other person's body, and they find out that there is certain kind of a rhythm. And that's how the invention of musical instruments also started, because they thought there is a certain kind of a rhythm which is there in the nature, and through our hands, through our feet, and that's how you will find a lot of tribes all over the world, whether it's shamans in the northeast or in the islands of Lakshadweep, Andaman. So they are very connected to the nature. They'll dance. They'll have a very big instruments, like in Australia they used didgeridoo, so which is the oldest musical instrument which has actually just one note, and it is said that the sound is a way for you to connect to the higher consciousness. So they were calling the ancestors, they were praying to the gods. So that's
Exactly.
how flute
Invoking.
evoking, yeah. So that's how flute came in, because they thought that the wood is hollow. Then let's make a flute. They thought that the bow and an arrow has a sting. That's how veena came in. That's how dholak came in. So all the instruments started from the tribal area. And if you learn classical music, so the basics of classical music is actually from the folk. And from the way the folk started, one the tribals.
Tribals, of course.
And that's how sound healing also started. So sound and music has a very good interrelation. So if you don't mix sound healing with music, it's empty. So that's why I'm learning sitar, so that I can integrate our ragas also, which really helps in healing, in calming the mind down. Because every raga, like every like during the day we have like morning raga, afternoon raga, evening raga, evokes certain kind of an emotions, and it also balances our energy centers.
तो ये जी ये जो कोर्सेज होते हैं आपके, हाउ डज इट वर्क एंड हाउ डज इट हेल्प एक्चुअली?
So I have a sound healing teacher training course, which
Yeah.
is for 3 to 4 days.
And it's for everybody and anybody?
No, it is for people who are interested in sound healing. Probably if they have a background in yoga, Reiki, tarot, astrology, or someone who is curious about it. I have a one of the student, he's a photographer, he is joining it. So anybody who's interested in the healing modality. So there are 12 to 15 modules, sorry, 11 modules that we cover. So we start with what exactly is the basis of vibrations according to the physics, because sound healing is everything is vibrations. So we talk about what are the levels of vibrations according to the physics. Then we talk about Nad Yoga, which is a forgotten science of ancient sound. And then after that, we cover 21 modalities, how to include in sound healing. And then we include how you can use the power of your own voice to release stuck emotions.
Okay.
So which is very, very powerful aspect, and which people love it. Because I also, sound healing is just one part. I also tell my students to connect with your own voice and how you can actually release a lot of stress through your own sound. So we do that as well. And then we talk about balancing your energy centers, your chakras, through the help of sound healing. So those who are Reiki healers and into healing, we help them how you can use bowls and give Reiki through the bowls as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Reiki through bowls.
Yes. Yeah. Because that's very, very impactful. How you can make sacred geometry, how you can use this as a medium for healing, for aura cleansing, aura strengthening. And then also we teach about how to give a full body massage as well through singing bowls, because that's not popularized much and people don't use it. It's a complete. So I'm training a spa therapist also now in 5-star hotels related to sound healing, that they have integrating now these singing bowls into their spa treatments as well. So yeah, these are the modalities that we teach, and then we have another level where we go more deeper into how to set an intention, because sound healing with intention is very, very powerful.
Okay.
And then we also help our students to set up their business model, like sound healing is just one part, and how they can use other aspects of their talent and create a complete wholesome package. And most of our students now are actually doing workshop in hotels, and we have a very good network of hotels and corporates where our students get workshop, yeah, referred to for workshops, and they all can also practice under my guidance. They can, most of my students, they also visit rehab. It's a shocking for them that where they have come. So yeah, that kind of exposure helps them to. And in all the TTC, we also bring the real life clients, and our students conduct the meditation, sound meditation, and then they come to know the power of, okay, कि ये साउंड तब उन्होंने सेशन लिया तो उनके क्लाइंट्स को कैसा लगा. So we give them real practical experience, not at all beating around the bush. Very practical driven course that gives you results, but followed by a person has to practice for at least 1 month or 2 months to get the skill.
Okay. Okay. So
Yeah.
when I asked you that, is it for anybody and everybody, I meant by the age.
Age, yeah,
What is the age limit of
age limit is nothing but of course not a teenager, but at least I would request around 24 plus.
Okay.
And I
Okay.
have a student who are like 60 plus as well.
Any particular reason that you're giving for 24
Because
plus?
you need certain kind of maturity as well to understand the modality, because it not everybody will be able to connect with, because certain modalities I think you need certain maturity as well
To understand.
to understand this, because this is a very, very deeper science, and it is very intuitive science. In yoga you have, that in meditation there are scripts. In yoga you have, okay, now this is the script you follow. In psychology you know that, okay, this is a disorder, you will follow DSM, you will follow a certain kind of symptoms, and you'll come to know about the disease. But in sound healing it is very intuitive. how you can use the bowl, what is your connection with the bowls, how to make sargam out of it, how you can create new ways to make the sound healing session more creative. Like you can have intention cards, you can have your tarot cards, you can also have like essential oils. So you're actually activating the five senses. You can also include bansuri. So I have one student, she includes handpan in a sound healing session. So it's like a mixture of like you're floating in the sound. So that's why it's called sound bath.
Sound bath, yeah.
So you are actually floating in the sound waves. That's very, very effective.
Okay. Very well said. One, because you have, I mean, you're dealing with so many people with energies a little darker.
Hmm.
Darker, as in darker. When I say, I mean the depression, the anxiety,
Yeah.
the dark zone of the human being.
Hmm.
Okay, where most of us are,
Hmm.
and we don't acknowledge, but we are energetically in the darker zone. Our world is getting
Yeah.
more darker and darker. So because you are, there's an energy exchange every time, right? You're doing sessions or there is a group session, so everybody's stress comes in with that energy, and then they leave the energy. Okay, so what are your personal practices to keep yourself the way you are, so calm and composed,
Yeah.
after dealing, after like you're going to the rehab center, a very,
Yeah. Very
it's a
intense
chaotic,
space. Yeah.
intense energy, a very high depressing energy people are in all the time, throughout the week, and you just go there for once and then you bring back also. I believe that way, that
Yeah.
energy comes, and we exchange energies through anything or everything. Even if we are sitting in silence, there is an energy exchange happening. So what are your daily practices?
Yeah. My daily practice, firstly, when I go to rehab, is like let go of it. Whatever their problems is, I'll not much interact with patients because I just do my sessions, probably interact a few, and just I've trained my mind that don't get too much into it. So that's the first practice. Then of course doing yoga like almost every day, meditation, then playing my sitar. So whenever I feel that during the night, during the day, so that helps me calm down. And of course watching a kind of content because I'm very much immersed in my work and I love my work. So I don't watch like any random. So I'm very much strict. So my regime is like ahar, vichar, and vyavhar. So what I'm eating, what I'm thinking. So no Bollywood star. I don't follow any movies. No social media influencers.
Okay.
So I live a very different life from others in the wellness field also. So no late nights, very rarely. So no parties. So you have to be disciplined. Otherwise, your wellness,
Doesn't make sense.
yeah, doesn't make sense. So these are my regimes, and of course, doing meditation. Of course, during the day also, I become aware of my breath. I also do deep breathing during my sessions as well.
Okay, so what's Yash's perfect day would look like,
Perfect day. Perfect
from
day.
morning to evening till you sleep, probably from the
Yeah,
time
probably
you.
like I can go to farm and spend time with villagers. Probably doing cow cuddling, visiting temples, and then yeah, and then playing my sitar, doing meditation, yoga.
Okay, okay. So the meditation that you mentioned in the beginning, the silent,
Yeah, I do
more of
silence. Yeah,
more of vipassana, more of like passive,
yeah,
passive
because I've
meditations.
reached
Yeah,
that stage that I don't need guided meditations.
you don't need active
Yeah,
meditations
it's don't.
anymore. Yeah.
Probably I can chant a mantra. Like mantra is recited outside, but I'll do it inside, and that will also help me to reach a calmer state.
Okay, okay, okay. Wow. Um, quite a knowledge. और मैं ऐसे सोच रही हूँ कि अभी अगर यहाँ पे और स्पेस होता है तो
Sound
एक
healing ही
से
कर
हाँ
ले.
साउंड हीलिंग कर लेते हैं
Yeah,
हम
yeah,
लोग.
yeah.
Yeah. So thank you very much for enlightening us and bringing back the knowledge that the language, as I started also by saying that the first language that we learn
Is
is the language of sound,
yes.
right? So thank you very much, and thank you for your time and this all entire knowledge. I am really grateful for you making this time for us.
Yeah, thank you. It's my pleasure.
थैंक यू सो मच
Thank you.
यश. तो ये थे हमारे साथ यश जी. जैसे मैंने शुरुआत में कहा कि पहले जो पहली भाषा होती है जो हम सीखते हैं बिफोर वी आर बोर्न इज साउंड, ठीक है। तो जो पहली भाषा है वो हमारी आत्मा सबसे ज्यादा समझती है। जब हमें कोई हमारा मदर टंग एंड father's tongue or this tongue, that tongue didn't happen as in the opening I said. So yeah, I think if something can heal us the best is sound, a language that is already known to us before we were born. और बाकी एज आई ऑलवेज से, अगर नहीं ध्यान से देखा है तो प्लीज रिवाइंड कीजिए और फिर से अच्छे से सुनिए और ध्यान से अब्जॉर्ब कीजिए ये इन्फॉर्मेशन। और बाकी इनके लिए, इनके साथ डायरेक्टली कनेक्ट करने के लिए गो टू आवर डिस्क्रिप्शन बॉक्स एंड मेक द मोस्ट आउट ऑफ इट, एज आई ऑलवेज से। थैंक यू सो मच।